I've been selling online for the last 10 years, and let me tell you what I wish someone would have told me before I started. If you've seen my previous video, you might be excited about jumping into the e-commerce opportunity. Hold your horses, however. Before you do anything, you need to realize there are some big, potentially fatal flaws with this business model. Hitting any of these will make you regret the day you started. Let me tell you what you need to watch out for and how you can avoid getting into trouble. Remember, e-commerce is still retail. Retail stores fail all the time. And the first problem is competition. If your idea is so great, there are already established players in your market. Getting past them will not be easy. They have an existing loyal customer base, good Google SEO, proven way to recruit new customers, and years of data to look at and analyze. You have nothing but an idea and excitement. You need to be prepared for the long haul, as it won't be easy to beat your competitors. It also helps to have an unfair advantage working for you. This can be a well-known brand that you can bring into a new country, exclusivity agreements, patents, trademarks. Use everything you can to mitigate the risk. The second problem is related to the first one. If your idea is so novel and new, what's the reason nobody does that yet? Maybe the market just isn't there yet. Imagine selling barefoot shoes 10 years ago, or introducing a new type of coffee. People already have their habits around footwear and coffee. Changing them will be hard. Finding the right product and validating product market fit is crucial. The third problem is that to scale e-commerce meaningfully, you will need to tackle a very disparate and complex list of problems. Customer recruitment, retention, nurture, SEO, PPC, FBA, Facebook, Insta, TikTok. It can get very complicated and expensive really quickly. You will need a good roadmap to avoid getting lost and confused. Problem number 4 is online advertising only ever gets more expensive. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The CPC rates were much lower than today. But we don't really have a choice. We can't go back in time, so we have to start today. Online advertising is an auction-based system where you go against the best in your niche, companies with loyal customer bases, good levels of repeat purchasing, brand awareness and trust, or just companies with more money to burn than you. Getting new customers might prove too expensive to be worthwhile if your product offering is not up to par. The hack here is to stay way below your max ad spend and only serve your ads to the hottest customers that look for exactly what you offer. Increasing the ad spend will always result in larger customer recruitment costs. It's very easy to start draining your account with nothing to show for it. In just 3 months last year, I managed to lose £15,000 on customer acquisition. It was just an experiment to see if we can afford to increase the ad budgets. The answer was obviously no. Thankfully, we have a lot of return purchases, so it won't be a permanent capital loss. Problem number 5, stock management. In theory trivial, but in practice that's a large issue that made many retail businesses bankrupt. Overstocking on the wrong items or running out of your best sellers in peak trading period, we've all seen them before, not to mention the amount of capital tied up in a stock. This capital needs to come from somewhere, either retained earnings or external financing. So please, start slow and only commit the money you can afford to lose. Only scale up your inventory if you generate consistent sales over time. You will need a healthy personal balance sheet to get this right. You will need to take out personal loans or maybe even a remortgage to buy enough goods to generate meaningful income over time. With time, you can work on payment terms with your suppliers, but these won't be available to new startups. So after some time, you can pay for your goods after a given period of time, let's say 30 to 60 days. But when you're starting, no one will trust you to do any of that, so you'll have to pay in advance for all your goods. Problem number 6 is similar, related to stock. You might end up working for free or even paying your company to keep operating. Imagine yourself £1,000 worth of goods in month 1. You will need all that money to buy stock and prepare for increased sales in month 2. If you're blessed enough that the growth persists, you will reinvest all the money again and again and again. If you're lucky enough to experience explosive growth, you will have to finance the company from your personal savings or secure external finance. The costs of that financing might wipe out all your profit, so you're back to working for free month after month. To avoid this trap, you might want to slow down your growth on purpose. Enjoy higher return on ad spend for some time and just take a breather. Problem 7. Why should anyone buy from you? Starting out, you have no reviews, no brand awareness, no trust, so your conversion rate for your paid advertising will be very low. It takes a lot of experiments and tweaks and failures to actually get past this part. It helps to sell someone else's products, known brand, but only to a point. With e-commerce, there will be a lot of incremental gains to be had, You might have to do split testing on your product pages, experiment with adding and removing certain elements, but we'll cover that in a separate video. And finally, if you want your customers to return to you, how is your after-sales experience compared to other players? To sum it up, you need a clear value proposition in an underserved market to win. You will need to hit a pain point. Remember, customers buy because they want or need to, not just because you happen to sell something. The eighth problem is you will suddenly have to become an expert on international law, shipping operators, duties, import VAT, CE markings, trademarks, copyright, intellectual property. Falling foul of any of those can land you in hot water really quickly. It's never been easier to find yourself in violation of any of those regulations. Your local trading standard spends all day looking out for violations, and they also get tipped off regularly by your competitors. So in terms of compliance, you will need all the advice you can get. Talk to your suppliers, accountants, reach out to your local council, ask them for local rules and regulations you need to be aware of before you start. Also double check the intellectual property databases for registered trademarks or patents you might be infringing without even knowing. Finally, check your courier's terms of carriage. You might be in violation of them by shipping items like liquids, for example. Problem 9, fulfillment. If you go with Amazon FBA, say goodbye to 15% of your top line plus delivery costs. If you send your own items, delivery won't be as good as Amazon's. It will also be more expensive and less reliable. I'm sure you've seen the video clips of certain courier companies mistreating or stealing customer parcels. Guess who's going to pay for them? You. Items that are lost, faulty or sent out to customers by mistake will effectively get written off. In retail, we call it shrinkage. My top tip is to go with the better quality delivery companies. It will be worth it in terms of higher customer satisfaction, fewer lost and damaged parcels, and overall peace of mind. Also remember that as you grow, you might be able to negotiate custom shipping rates. Some couriers will pick parcels up from your premises, so you don't need to go anywhere to send them, and online tracking will come in handy. Also make sure you choose a shipping service that's tracked, because customers will always want to know where the parcels are. Problem number 10 is independence. Even if you think you're running your own business makes you your own boss, think again. You're trading one boss for a faceless bureaucracy with no accountability. All platforms have policies, and it's very easy to violate them without even knowing. For example, Shopify payments and other services are not available for nutraceuticals like vitamins. Meta won't allow any food supplements listed at all, ever. eBay will keep finding dodgy products in your listings. Google will penalize you for advertising anything seemingly untoward. The worst thing is, you can live blissfully basing your entire business model on these platforms, and you won't get any notice before they take you down. Good luck appealing an account suspension with these companies. Communist Russian officials would be more helpful than some of them. It's a very stressful experience. But even here, it pays to be resourceful. There's a lot of Upwork freelancers actually specializing in lifting these as account suspensions and bans, and will help you if you get stuck, so no need to despair. Bonus problem. Nobody talks about the loneliness. You won't be able to talk about what you're doing with anyone you know. Nobody will understand you or the problems you deal with. But I will. I've been there and I've done that before. Feel free to book a call with me using a link in the description below. In the next video, we'll talk about what to sell. See ya!